Hello, hello, my friends, and welcome. My name is Kate, and I'm in my nest, which is really my studio, come absolutely happy spot. It's Friday afternoon, and here in Australia, it's a long weekend. So that is always we have this long weekend because of Australia Day on Monday, and it's sort of the sign that it's the end of the summer holidays for those who have kids that go back to school. Everyone comes back to work. So I thought that was fitting to do a video about where I am up to on the Hope Tote, or the Tote of Hope, because some get a little depressed. Those with high school children, particularly, that I know, the kids don't want to go back, and it's, parents want them to go back. So I'm just conscious of all of those times. So how are you feeling? I'm hoping whatever you are doing, that you're happy, and if you're watching this, that you've got something fun with you to do. So I'm calling it interchangeable, but this is our collaboration for January, this side of this big tote bag. So just for a recap, those of you who may not have been with us on this journey, this was a big shopper tote that I got from a popular global store, and it has straps. And for the month of January, we have been looking at this as the first side of the Tote of Hope, and I started the collaboration off with suggesting that we do this side based around the letter H. So we started with hearts, we went to hidden, we went to flowers starting with H, and then words. Did I get to there? I don't know whether I got to words, but I think I'm going to do it differently next month, so you'll have to stay tuned. But this is about recapping how far I have come. If you've been watching it over the last 3 weeks, she's getting more like a garden every day, and I am at my favorite part of embellishing, just going into these spaces. If I bring you in, gosh, that would be sophisticated. So like it's getting to be layer, I don't want to make you dizzy, layer upon layer of stitching and adding bits in. And there's a heart that I've done unexpectedly as an experiment, and I really like it. So I could go all over, but I won't, because now I've already forgotten how do I go back out again? Sorry if this, I don't want to make you dizzy, but to get the scale. All right, so there are the handles up there. This is the width of the bag. I put that little frill over because it's going to wrap around and sort of be my heirloom H, silent H, around the side and onto the next big side. So what are we up to? I could go through all of these little bits, but I could cut to the chase and say that since you saw me working on hidden, which was about 10 days ago, I have taken the hidden pocket off and decided to keep the mystery down here. So you may remember that in here, under these folds of the flower, is a little pocket with a pop of orange. And I thought to announce that pocket, we could put something a little bit dangly in there. Can you see this? If I've sat down and started to oh yeah, you can't see it. Sorry. I've got dangly. I've been out with my gorgeous friend Jo, and I've still got all my necklaces and dangles on. Speaking of dangles, under there, I think the curious eye will go, oh, I wonder what's under there. So I'm going to chop. This is braid that I bought back from Jaipur. going to leave those stitches there showing and just add that in. So we're going to do quite a number of little things, and then this is going to be the last time you see her until I announce February, which will probably be closer to the beginning of February and toward the end more of Jan, because it's just now layer upon layer and embellishment. So there is a little dingle dangle. Words that start with H. I have been experimenting. You saw early on, I'm going to try and sit down, but I'll keep everything sort of in the center there. Have a look at this. This is that big piece of Indian Cantha quilt, which you probably would have seen me put down as just plain yellow last time. I'm starting to embellish. I've done the center. I've started to do the sides, but I think that's the center color. So I'm going to have I don't know, but I feel like it needs more definition or something. I have delineated the petals, and she's such a dominant flower, like she's the biggest flower. So I have to call her a sunflower because the Latin starts with H. Okay, so way back in the beginning, my first ever word that I wrote in stitching was hope in black. And along the way, I've been experimenting so much that I got my favorite quote and did it, but now I can't find it. And now I've quickly had to do another one. But I have done harmony. And with harmony, I gouached the back. Because at one point, I thought I would put all these words all over the place. But I still don't know. I have these two hopes done, and this is where I was experimenting with what colour gouache I liked the best. And I have decided that I like the red to embellish. And my biggest quote, da-da-da-da, is, I love the quote that is, hope is a thing with feathers, and it goes on and on. But I actually think hope is the thing. So this is sort of like a mainstay. I've embroidered this, and I left it on the doily tablecloth because I like that, I sort of like that's a bit strandy, but it's a bit bright, so I need to tone it down because it was on a different sort of linen. But I've got, see, it's too bright. Let's just forget that I've got that. I actually quite like writing on the back. Forget that because you'll see it in another form. But somewhere along the bottom, we're going to have a long quote. And if I could find the one I did, I would put it there. I mean, there's also the orange under the red, which is nice and sort of smudgy. And we've got harmony. Because I think to get hope we need, anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm not sure. Part of me wanted to have the words go everywhere. You will be doing your own thing. I have taken off the really big H up here. And that's my learning for next time. I think we need to be well, for my style, mine is such an overall that to put the H on without anything was premature. So I hope I haven't guided anyone in the wrong way, or if I have and you don't like it, just take it off or go over the top. So let's just leave hope there for the moment. I brought down this bit of lace because I haven't used that, and I thought one of my ideas is, could we experiment with a cluster, like a little sort of yummy thing with a word in the center, like a brooch, which brings me to treasures. Of course, all my works have to have treasures on them. How about this as a treasure of a brooch? I got this last year at the airport in Bangkok, and I'd forgotten it. I think I showed you the dog the other day, but it is a brooch already. and that could be the heirloom, starting with H, or I also found this little basket of eggs, which is very Kate in the Nest, that I could put a dangle on and could hang down somewhere. How about that? Because eggs in a nest bring hope. And that's what I'm trying to do when I talk to you, that we cheer each other up, keep each other company, provide some joy and hope and happiness. So I've got those two. And you know, when projects go from one into another, I'm working on another big project, and I happen to have this beautiful piece of textile. It's satin on, it's been quilted, and I actually thought, wouldn't that give, oh yes, a pop of a heart? And could the word hope be written on her? No, not in that colour. Maybe on a side. But that yellow under the camera it looks terrible. It doesn't look terrible in real life, but I think I've realised that I don't think I want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to sneeze. Achoo. My apologies. I don't know. I think I said it yesterday. All of a sudden, the hay fever is coming out. So what do I want to do? Let's take those off. Oh, I found that lovely little, I want to do a cluster of something. I want to put a heart on. I want to make a little special piece in the hidden pocket. Oh, and I found this beautiful piece of Beck's quilting, and I thought, first of all, I thought I should have used that for hidden. You know, it's not too late to put, can you see that down there? It's a bit light, isn't it? What about that bit? Because I have got this very long length, which is really not in my style. I wonder if I could put a little bit of that and make another pocket. And then it's the, oh, that's the base, but isn't that pretty? Let me just cut that as an idea. So it's like that flower is tucked in, sorry, tucked in there. Just all ideas. Don't be scared to pin and then change your mind. All right, but for the moment, I want to put that heart down, and I want to use, not orange, oh, how unusual, I need to use pink. Now, I have heard that a lot of my Northern Hemisphere friends are facing snow and very, very cold weather this weekend. So thinking of you. We're having funny weather. And when I say funny, it's getting hotter. But today I went out the door to meet my friend, and I raced back for a scarf. Not cold enough for a jumper. Now, if I do this, can you see me? Yep. Pull my chair in. If you see that blue under there, do not worry. I know it doesn't go, but that's going to be the base. Oh, it's the side. It will be covered. So I'm going to pinch. I'm sort of doing an applique stitch, but I'm pinching quite tight to pull the pink satin down over the white lining. I do not mind at all that the white lining is still showing. Because it's almost like the inside of the heart. Sometimes for hope we have to bandage our hearts up, even if they feel broken. Now, just before I came on, I thought, now, will I talk about friends or will I not? But I am, because we are all friends here. I am so, so grateful that when times in your life you find, what am I trying to say? You find the difference between friends and acquaintances, and then that small inner circle. And I'm blessed that I have 3 wonderful, wonderful, strong women outside my family, because I've got my family as well, who were the ones who daily helped me through my darkest times a couple of years ago. And they checked in, and I don't think they had a roster, but it was never all of them on the one day. And part of them knowing, because I couldn't talk on the phone, I was just so broken, but they would just send me little messages, little affirmations, drop flowers on my doorstep, all those sorts of things. And I thought Jo was one of them, and she doesn't watch this, but if she does, well, all the better. When I had coffee today, she reminded me, and I had forgotten. And I suppose this is why I'm doing YouTube, because I watched YouTube as I came out. I started watching before I filmed a little bit, and that was after I went to the green door. Anyway, we won't go all over that. But she reminded me that part of my check-in was every Monday I would send her a text and say it's Monday, and she would say, what are you up to? And I would say nothing, writing my journal, etc. And I had forgotten how long we did that. And then today she said, and then I realized that some Mondays you were not texting, and I thought, oh, she's getting better. And then I'd realized like 10 days later, and then she said, and last year you didn't text on a Monday. I went, oh my gosh, sorry, Jo. And she said, no. She said, that is a pure celebration. And yeah, I just thought, will I tell you that? But I am, because I suppose not all of us have access to being able to go out and meet with people and have cups of coffee. And whatever our circumstances, I know many of us are not well or have parents or partners or family, all in different circumstances. But sometimes it is that ritual or that regular routine that is a lifeline. So I want to say thank you not only to Jo, but for you people out there. And I'm saying this to people who have just joined. I'm not like this all the time, but I do like showing my gratitude. And that's why we're doing the Hope Tote. And I'm got all these bright flowers here. Didn't know that I would be a stitcher of bright flowers. But that's how my hope is coming out. So the big ta-da moment is this tote is going out of the house for her very first time next Tuesday. It's now, I better tell you what I'm doing as I'm chatting away. I was going to put that heart down all over, and then I've realised it's a perfect pocket. That's my journaling love. I don't do heart-shaped pockets in journals, but I just thought, why would you waste an opportunity for a pocket And I was talking about hidden, but how much better is this hidden pocket than last week's? And I went through putting that pocket on with you last week, and it wasn't a failure. It was just afterwards I thought, it just doesn't quite feel right there. So yeah, I'm going to take this to the studio with me on Tuesday. I haven't been to the studio since the first week of December, and it's the first one back. And that's why I've made her, because she is going to come to, just when I go to my groups and to workshops, etc. So just down the side of the heart. So this was a little just off cut that as I was coming down to my nest, I saw on the floor, it wasn't heart-shaped, it was a little square. So I chopped it. I was going to say I could nearly get away with that, but I can't. But now I can. That was a double stitch. Okay, let's come back round. And there we are. We've got a little heart. I'm much happier with that. So now we could think about a treasure or something hidden in there. At one point I was wondering about making a little baby scroll with a letter on it. So let's just do a pretend and tuck that in there for the moment. Right, what else? I was going to put the dangle on there. Now I don't have to as much because I've put that in there. Shall we, this, I think it is a bit too bright. We're going to leave that quote for another time. Let's see if we can make, where would I put a cluster, Kate, before you get carried away? Oh, did you notice this bit? I use that in my very, very first work. I don't know where I bought that fabric, but I think it was amongst the first fabric I ever bought. And I saw it on the bottom of a squidgy nest last night, and I thought it needs to be seen. So where my big H was, and that was all bare, I've got that, and I will embroider it. The other thing I just had to show you was, I think I got this out for another piece, and that is almost a cluster waiting to happen. Or I need to very shortly put a pocket inside of this, because then I can put all my bits. I'm looking for the brooch. Here, let's get these ones around. Oh, and some chenille. I put some chenille up here just for my little bit of fringe. Okay. So now I've got this. Oh, this. Let's make this a bit raggy. I put some of this in one of my bundles for the bazaar. So versatile. So if you haven't tried just some of your scrappy lace bits and painting or colouring or dyeing them, something like this can be so incredibly... What shape do you want, Kate? I don't know. In fact, I don't want it neat. I want it a bit raggy. Getting distracted because now I think that little nest could go on my heart. Maybe I need the cluster underneath and then I'll put the brooch over. And what else have I got? I've got another one of these. Not enough contrast. Gosh, it's a long time. Where are my other ones of these? I love this little embroidery that I only found yesterday when I was scrummaging around. I needed to make a brooch out of this because I'd like it to pop. Oh, that was the thing. Gee, I'm all over the place, but gee, it's fun. That is one idea. Here's another idea. See, I'm wanting to put everything on this one side. I have to hold that. I have to keep it, everyone. And at the risk of doing too much because I'm just so excited. Oh my gosh. It's true embellishing stage. I feel like I want to dangle that on something. What have I got to dingle dangle? Not much. So for the moment, let's put that on there. There we are. We've got like a heart with the nest of eggs, a nest egg. A flower there. Let's go back to the cluster idea. Or do I just... Maybe I put it up here without the cluster. And again, I hold the cluster for, you know, me, it's more, but sometimes less is more. And I don't have to put everything onto the one piece. I think I'll put that upside down. Yep. Saves me embroidering that. It's the basics that I can't do. Yeah. There we are. We've got a 3D flower up there. We've got a little nest on here. We still haven't got any words. That's not good. I wonder, where did Harmony go? Or the black hope? We could do one ourselves just right now. Do you see why it's hard to get the writing? I've got a vision in my mind, but I actually still don't think I've nailed it. Nope. Like a name tag of hope. Could I write it on there? And I do have to say, I totally understand those of you who are very organised and for whom my style is, it's way too bright, Kate. Okay, let's just, just do me in small doses if you need to. Oh. I'll do it on the board. Sorry, everyone. I'll just do it in writing first to see whether that idea would work proportionally. Nope, that's not right either. So, ironically, actually writing the words of hope is proving my most difficult thing. We could go over the top. How about we do that? This has got everything, this video. And luckily for us all, maybe I could write it in gold. That would be better. Maybe. More harmonious. Okay. What could we do? To quieten this down. Let's put pink over the top. And some orange. So you can see that this really is a learning for me, as I said it would be. That, put some purple. I don't know whether you saw any of that. That's better, but I feel maybe you like purple or something. Get rid of that really bright. That was just, you needed your sunglasses on. Because it was meant to be like a message that, see that, you probably can't see it as clearly, but is that actually down there? Well, let's do this one pink. See, this little piece can now easily be used as a trim somewhere else that needs brightening up. Oh, there's the black hope. That's what I was after. Sort of like this chenille because it always comforts me. Some of you, probably particularly Kiki, will be going, Kate, put that there. So, I don't know where we're going to end up, but she's in that stage where we've got the time. To just play. I'm just not used to putting words with my style. And that's probably gone too orangey now. So, to be continued. I hope that you have more ideas on how to do your hope than me. But we have at least got somewhere. We've got, what if I just rolled that out so we could see hope like that? Maybe that's more me. I think so. Satin heart with Kate in the nest, eggs of hope, flying away. Could have a bird that could come on another side. There's the brooch. I haven't got as far as the cluster. I've got the little dangles on here, and knowing that that will have more embroidery. I don't want to cover all the canter up, but I think dangerous. Yeah, this is another thing that you can always do. No, should it be orange? Darker. Who knows? That'll be another mystery. I better go now before I start colouring in everything. No, stop. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being with me on the Hope Tote. This is going to be the last installment of January. Not that I'll stop working on her, but because other projects to do, you know what you've got to do. No big rules, but H things, hope, and messages of hope. So until next time, thank you so much. You bring me hope, and let's keep going together. That's it for now. Bye.